Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nintendo Expansion Pass here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host and nice excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only Bossman himself, Mr. Corey Derrick. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Edward. It's good to see you again. After,
yes.
I don't know.
It's good to see you too.
Sure it is.
You know we always have a good time, hopefully, when we see each other. What is that for?
It's fine.
Oh.
Anyways. Yeah. We are recording again. Look at us. Hi.
Yes, everybody. We are talking about the 3DS launch lineup for this episode. And a bit about the Ambassadors program. So.
Yeah. I mean, the 3DS launch is like... I don't remember anything about the 3DS launch at all, except for like Street Fighter was in 3D and Star Fox was in 3D. Those are like the only two. And like the big like Resident Evil Revelations box art had that misspelling, that infamous misspelling on the spine. Those are like the three things I remember from 3DS launch.
Didn't it come in like two colors? Like
black and teal and red. Maybe.
Okay, yeah.
Black and teal for sure, because I had the teal one at launch.
And then they remade it.
Well, they did like 12 iterations of it. I mean, there was the 3DS, the 3DS XL, the 2DS, and then there was the new Nintendo 3DS XL, the new Nintendo 3DS, and then the new Nintendo 2DS XL, which is the one I currently have.
Yes.
Which is apparently like hard to find now, apparently. Or, I mean,
as you call
relative to the other ones.
As you call it, the doorstopper 3DS. I'm just like, wait a minute.
Yeah,
it is 2DS. True.
Yeah.
I literally had to stop and be like, that is true.
I mean, I have one plugged in over there if you want me to go get it. The doorstop one for my kid. But it's fine. Whatever, Ed. It's cool.
Would you like to show the people how the system looks?
No, it's too late. It's all the way over there.
Okay.
So.
Well, everybody, yes, we are talking about the first iteration of the 3DS. So let's run down the release launch for the games. Coming from Nintendo themselves was Pilot Wings Resort, Steel Diver, and Nintendogs and Cats. For third party, it was Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition, The Sims 3, Madden NFL Football, Pro Evolution Soccer 2011 3D, Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, Ridge Racer 3D, Super Monkey Ball 3D, Bust a Move Universe, Samurai Warriors Chronicles, Asphalt 3D, Combat of Giants Dinosaur 3D, Rayman 3D, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Shadow Wars. And I'm just gonna be
what a lineup.
Yes.
Man, this first party lineup, man. Remember when they thought Steel Diver was going to be something big for them?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, dude. Steel Diver.
Yikes. I know out of this list, Nintendo Dogs and Cats was big. That one really sold a lot.
Was it big on 3DS or was it big on DS? Because the DS versions were huge.
It was kind of big on 3DS. A lot of parents was getting it for their kids, like their daughters and stuff. It was kind of big on it. It wasn't like the system seller for the 3DS. I don't even think we got the system seller for 3DS until a little bit later on.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the system sellers was definitely like the special editions, like when Link Between Worlds came out. And they had the gold 3DS XL.
Well, I mean, before Link Between Worlds, they had the Ocarina of Time one before that, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, every time a Zelda game came out, there was a 3D, there was a handheld to go with that Zelda game.
Yes.
No doubt about it. I mean, remember all the DS ones, and man, I remember how that puke greenish gold for 3DS that came with Majora's Mask. That thing was so ugly, and it's like the hardest one to find apparently. I was
Man,
like,
I
well, it's
remember.
because nobody wanted it, and then they stopped making it
They
because
did.
nobody wanted it. It's ugly.
I remember
Um,
the Monster Hunter 4 one sold out. I'm like,
yeah, that
dang.
Monster Hunter Blue one was awesome. I almost bought that. I almost bought Monster Hunter that when I was looking at replacing my 3DS
Uh,
with a 3DS, the new 3DS, because that was one of the new 3DS XLs.
yes.
I thought about getting the Monster Hunter one because I really liked that blue because it was blue and then it had that really cool, like, I guess Monster Hunter designs on it.
Uh-huh.
Like but it was like it was very similar to that Fire Emblem Fates 3DS, right? That white one
Yes.
that I still want so bad. But man, good luck getting that. I don't care about the game. I want the 3DS. It was like this really nice white finish with like the back of it was black, but the entire bottom wasn't black. It was like this like grayish, light gray
Uh-huh.
color, like it was awesome. Like almost Wavebird gray, but lighter. It was cool. It was a cool looking 3DS. 3DS had some great things. Sorry, I don't keep interrupting you.
No, 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 no. I was about to say I agree with you. Because like I think that's how the 3DS sold so much was those special edition 3DSs that came along with Nintendo games,
Yeah.
their first party games, and it was just like some really cool designs for the XL, for the 2DS, the 2DS XL, mostly the flip ones. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there was always something cool going along with the game with it, and so and they were always a little bit expensive than the regular 3DS and stuff. And I'm just like, shoot, this is how Nintendo was making their money when um Wii U wasn't doing so well. The handheld uh
I mean, the
the
3DS kept
side
them
of them.
alive, right? I mean,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. And so, like the games and the systems that they were selling were still making Nintendo money, and like it's part of the reason why a lot of companies came back to Nintendo because a lot of their games were selling on the Nintendo DS,
Mm-hmm.
3DS. I mean, $40 for these games, or $20 depending on where they were coming from, um, were like where was the way that they were selling the system, you
Yeah.
know. But like for this launch, so I didn't. I got the red one, and then I ended up getting when they released the 3DS XL. Um, I ended up getting that one with the Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Uh, that was mine. Um, to actually be honest with you, Corey, I think the only game that I got off of this list was Super Street Fighter 4 3D edition. Cause like I everything else wasn't appealing to me.
Yeah. What did I get from this list? I got, man, I don't even remember. I definitely didn't get any of the first party stuff.
Yeah.
I think shortly after this, uh, Star Fox 3D came out at some
Hmm.
point. Because I definitely remember getting that, but I also got Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, which was not a 3DS game. We'll just leave it at that. And then yeah, I think that's all I got from this list because I was waiting for other things and I was really into my Wii U at the time, so like
Hmm.
I just wanted a 3DS to have it because I try to have every Nintendo console, right? So
Yeah.
um yeah, I
I I was just say I think this is the weakest lineup they ever
Oh
had.
yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, aside from like maybe the Virtual Boy, which we'll maybe get to at some point,
Mhm.
or at least talk about it for 10 minutes at the top of an episode, like, man, this lineup is weak. It's really weak. I definitely think Street Fighter was probably the strong. Street Fighter and Super Monkey Ball are probably the strongest titles off this launch list.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like, I really don't. I really think the 3DS had that second launch when they dropped that price by $80,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because that was part of the problem too. Was like it kind of felt really rushed out. The 3D effect was cool, but like everybody except for investors were like nobody really cared about 3D, right? I mean, I didn't, and especially like on a small screen like that, definitely don't care. Uh,
Because they had the what AR cards and
yeah, they had
stuff.
the AR cards, which was neat, right? And then Street Pass was a cool thing, but like launching this thing at $250 when the DS was 150, I think, at launch.
Yeah.
Uh, like, man, and like for $50 more, you could get a Wii U, right? Like that was also a
Hmm.
big thing. Um, yeah, this was a tough sell for a while. I mean, I know this came out almost a year before the Wii U, but still, like,
Hmm. It did.
people were talking about Nintendo's next console at that time, and like it was going to be $299, and for some reason we knew a lot about the Wii U like a year before it came out. I do remember that, and yeah, people were like, "Why would I have this handheld?" Plus, oh, also like I think the Vita was about to come out too, and like I remember people saying that PlayStation was going to eat Nintendo's lunch with the Vita, and then their memory cards cost more than the console, and then everybody's like, "Oh, never mind."
Yeah, shoot, yeah, because the memory sticks were like $100.
Yeah, the
Um,
64 gig ones I remember at Walmart, because I went there because I heard that they had them, because I wanted the big one so I could have more games on it,
yeah,
right? Um, it was like $120. I'm like, I just paid like 200 what 30, I think 229, I think the Vita was at the time.
yeah,
Like I just got the Vita for that, and now I got to pay like that much more for a
and
memory card.
and the funny thing with the not to harp on the Vita or anything, they didn't send us memory cards everywhere because Toys R Us never got in none of them.
Yeah,
We got
I don't like after that initial launch of the 64 gig ones, I never saw them anywhere. The most I ever saw was 32, and I think the most popular one was with the 16, right?
yeah. And the only
Yeah.
thing I could think of is just like a Best Buy had them. I didn't even know that Walmart even had them.
Yeah, it was a weird time for it was a weird time in general, but um yeah.
Yeah, that first year of the 3DS was it wasn't hitting, which ended up leading to the Ambassador program
Mhm.
when they dropped the price, and those were 10 games that they released for it. So those games were Super Mario Brothers, Metroid, The Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, NES Open Tournament Golf, Donkey Kong Jr., Yoshi, and Wrecking Crew.
Mhm. Yeah, I
So
mean, I think the ambassador program was what, like, when this I think that's when people found out that if you bought it before a specific date, which I think was the price drop date, like
yeah,
you got all these free games and stuff, and like the big draw was the Game Boy Advance games, right? Because the Game Boy people still like even after the DS the DSi came out and lost the GBA port, people were still obsessed with GBA and like really seeking out the DS Lite, right?
yeah,
Even after the DSi came out, because they still wanted a port for Game Boy Advance games.
Advance.
And like people thought that this might be the start of them selling Game Boy Advance games on the handheld, and like it kind of wasn't, because I don't think any of these games were ever available for purchase. Maybe the NES ones were, but definitely not the Game Boy Advance ones.
Yeah, so the Game Boy Advance ones, everybody that came a little bit later, to give it 20 games, whereas Metroid Fusion, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Mario Kart Super Circuit, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario Advance 3, WarioWare Incorporated Mega Micro Games, The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap, Fire Emblem The Sacred Stones, Wario Land 4, F-Zero Maximum Velocity, and Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. It kind of feels like this one was better than the NES was.
Oh yeah, by far. I mean, this dude. I mean, you got Metroid Fusion on there, which is a banger.
Yeah,
Mario vs. Donkey Kong is a banger. Mario Kart Super Circuit, I could do without.
yeah.
But
Mario Kart DS was better.
Mario Kart DS is the best handheld Mario Kart in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
Yoshi's Island, it's, even though it's the Game Boy Advance version, I think is still a really great game,
Hmm.
right? People really like that version of WarioWare. The Minish Cap is a banger. Fire Emblem is a banger. WarioWare or Wario Land 4 is a banger. I don't really know much about the F-Zero game or the Kirby game, but I assume people like them. Anything that says F-Zero on it, people seem to like. Those 15 people are sitting next to the 6 Earthbound people in this at the same lunch table.
Look,
Man, I'm
F-Zero
just kidding. Everybody, relax.
F-Zero has a fan base. Earthbound
Mm.
/ Mother has a fan base too.
Yeah,
Let's
I
not
told you
pick on them.
the five people sitting at the lunch table
Let's
today.
no. Let's,
uh,
let's let's not do that to them. Let's be
nope,
more respectful.
nope. Tell that to the
Uh,
Earthbound copies that respected that clearance bin at Toys R Us.
at Kmart,
KB Toys.
just everywhere.
Yeah. See? I'm just kidding, everyone. I like it sometimes.
So, yeah, I think the future of the 3DS was kind of better, and like Fire Emblem Awakening got more people to the Fire Emblem series, and it's considered as one of the best games. I mean, there's more games in the series that people also love. But I think with the changes that they made in Fire Emblem Awakening, people ended up loving that series a little bit more. Pokemon Sun and Moon, and Sun and Moon 2, people enjoyed. uh you got the themes for like the background that you were able to buy, because they were dropping them all like almost every Friday, and they were like 199 for real time money and stuff. And then they had the games that you could play on their Street Pass. They did take off the kind of like picture chat thing.
Yeah, but they had me. Was there Miiverse on there? I don't remember. I
I
don't think so.
yeah, I don't know. I would have to look it up. Um I do know there was like videos that you could watch, like Pikmin shorts. Netflix was on there. And that's when the switching and pickup came on. So if you was watching Netflix on Wii, um or Wii U, uh, you could pick it up with that same account on your 3DS. And I tried it because I was watching part uh, of Law and Order SVU on Wii U, and then I paused it, turned it, got out the service on my Wii U, and then went to my 3DS, signed in, and bam, it picked up on there. And I thought that was such a big thing, because like Netflix got big on Wii. Like that was I think that was when Netflix really, really took off, when it was streaming on consoles.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think obviously it was big on Wii because everybody had a Wii, but also like, Xbox had that exclusive app streaming, right? That was a
uh-huh.
thing, right? I mean, because everything was by disc, you
Yeah,
know, and you couldn't even stream stuff without the disc, right? Like the
right.
weird Netflix disc that they shipped you for those specific console, like the PS3 had a disc too, I think. So um
Yeah. And
that
then
was interesting time, man.
we got the channel, the Netflix channel.
Hmm.
So you didn't really need a disc or anything. Everything was streaming.
Hmm.
Um and I think like the moment I got Netflix on Wii, that's when it started taking off. And then you started, you're seeing it on, like you said, Xbox, PS3, and then later on Hulu came on. I think Wii U, um, along with Netflix, and then we started getting more of these services. And Hulu then ended up becoming the 3DS, and I was watching stuff on 3DS with Hulu and everything, and had the headphones and stuff. So I think like over time, 3DS improved from its launch lineup
Hmm.
um of games and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, Anything else, Corey, about it? About the 3DS that you remember?
I mean, not really from launch, but there's like a lot of weird stuff that I remember from the 3DS, right? The uh like the weird the weird games that started coming over, I mean, I don't really obviously I don't really remember if this was close to launch or not either, right? But like,
Mhm.
we were talking about, we got some really great new franchises on there, like Pushmo and
Yes.
Box Boy, and what Dylan's Rolling Western was really
Yeah.
interesting. That Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, which is where Nintendo kind of started experimenting with
Mhm.
microtransactions, but like it was weird. You could argue with this dog, right? Of like the
Uh-huh.
price of games, like real games that you could purchase within this Rusty's Real Deal Baseball thing. And like, you could either pay the price and play those games, or you could haggle with this
Yeah.
dog for a price. And it was like, oh, that's interesting. Um, yeah. Plus, it was like, uh, there was some weird. What was the other downloadable game? Not aside from Dylan's Rolling Western. What was the other one? Wasn't there like
Um,
another weird kind of game? Maybe it wasn't
I know there was an RPG one, kind of.
Clive something. Clive, well, Clive. I don't know. I don't remember what it was called, but anyways, we got a lot of weird, cool things like that. And Pushmo is an amazing game. Crashmo and Stretchmo were the sequels. I'm not sure if they were great.
Mhm.
Really, I think Pushmo's still the best. And then we got Pushmo World on the Wii U, which I don't think anybody knew about.
Yeah,
Um,
I did it.
Man, where's that Pushmo collection on the Switch? That would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we ended up getting a Box Boy sequel on Switch, and um, it was a lot of weird stuff like that that I thought the 3DS kind of started bringing to the table. Um, and then when they started trying to put like, the big game that always sticks out to me on that console that was like strange because it was kind of a console game that was on there was Resident Evil Revelations.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was a weird thing to put on that console, and I mean, I appreciate Capcom really trying, right? But like it was
Cause
it
I
was a full-on 3D Resident Evil game that was like, I think the reason why people liked it on there is because it was kind of episodic and it felt like a handheld game, right? And I think this
Mhm.
was kind of like where Nintendo at least saw a potential in handheld like a handheld console gaming, like real handheld console gaming.
Well,
This was like the Switch, right? But like the fact that Capcom tried to put a third person shooter Resident Evil in the style of, 4 and 5
mhm.
on the 3DS, right? And they had that boat, that weird boat thing.
Yes, I was about to ask
And
the
then
accessory.
yeah, like the 3DS boat that 3 games used, right? It was Metal Gear Solid, Snake Eater 3D. It was Resident Evil Revelations, and then it was, I think, Kid Icarus used it.
Y-
Like I think they had some sort of control where you could use it, or maybe it was Monster Hunter. Maybe it was Monster Hunter that used it.
mhm.
Uh, but yeah, anyways, like they made this weird 3DS. We called it the boat dock. Like you just kind of put the 3DS in this thing, and it added a
Circle,
second
circle,
thumbstick.
Circle Pad Pro.
Yeah, but we call it the boat dock. I mean, that thing
Yeah.
was huge for a 3DS. It was like the size of a Wii U tablet.
Oh, and then the NFC reader / writer to put the amiibos and stuff on.
Yeah, a little
Or
like dongle that you plugged into your 3DS if you didn't, because like the new 3DSs had the NFC reader in them,
yeah,
but the non-new 3DSs did not. So they sold this little like puck that you plugged into it,
yeah.
and it was about the size of an amiibo, right? And like
Mm-hmm. It looks
also
kind
the
of cool.
yeah, also they had that Pokemon Pokeball thing where you could put Pokemon in it and walk around and train your Pokemon as you walked around, right? That was
Yeah,
the beginning of that. And then obviously that kind of, what was it? Pokemon Let's Go had that too, right? But it started on the 3DS. That was weird. Yeah, the 3DS had a lot of weird stuff, man. Like
yeah,
you mentioned, the AR thing was interesting and weird.
yeah.
Uh,
Cause uh,
oh, but the one thing that always stuck out to me too was Metopia came to the 3DS first, right?
yes,
And the biggest thing was like, I just remember this video. I don't remember. I don't even remember if it was real or not. But Reggie was in it, and Iwata and Snoop Dogg were like in this Metopia like RPG thing going on, and I'm like,
yeah,
this is a strange thing. I don't know if this is real or not, but man, good times. And then we got the handheld version of Smash for the first time, right? And like,
and that was a cool thing because you could with Smash. If as long as you had the game on your 3DS, you could use the system in the game as a controller on the Wii U.
yeah, that
Like
was
that was
a
super
choice.
cool. It, it's funny because I got I got so used to the 3DS version of Smash that it just became my way of playing Smash Wii U. Like I would make sure my 3DS was charged all the way up, and I would use that to um, fight other people on the Wii U
Mhm.
and get it connected and stuff. And it wasn't that hard to connect. It was really easy. It kind of found out this is the system. Then everybody will be able to play.
Mhm. Yeah, and then obviously the Monster Hunter games that you could like, that was Nintendo experimenting with crossplay, right? With the Wii U
Uh
and the
huh.
3DS. That happened. Um so yeah, those are like the weird things I remember about the 3DS. And then like Nintendo started really putting out strong content for it, right? Like Luigi's Mansion 2,
Yes, oh, I love that
uh
game.
New Super Mario Brothers 2, I really liked. The Link Between Worlds is, considered one of the best 2D Zelda games of all time.
Yeah, they
Uh,
continued the Professor Layton games. I
yeah.
think that's where Professor Layton versus Cross Phoenix Wright was on
Mm-hmm.
3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Super Mario 3D Land was like an amazing, awesome 3D Mario game.
yes,
Uh,
and then
st-
World Drop, and then like that to the side.
yeah, dude. Once 3D World came out, I've totally forgot about 3D Land for a long time. But like the cool thing too about 3D Land though is like they reintroduced the Tanuki suit, which everybody was excited for, right? Like that was
Yes,
like the big draw was like, hey, remember Mario 3? Well, the raccoon tail is back.
and then 3D World came out with the cat suit, and everybody was just like, "Ah, I gotta buy the game!" And then,
Yeah.
because like even like Miyamoto and them or the Nintendo team had the cat paws, it was just just being so cute within everything. I'm just like, "Oh, y'all really gonna sell this game to a lot of people."
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things on there. And then obviously towards the end we got some really great remakes and ports, right? Like
Hmm.
I mean, Samus Returns was a shock to everyone. Um, the Fire Emblem found its, no pun intended, but reawakening on there, right? Like Awakening was supposed to be the last Fire Emblem game, remember? And then
Yes.
everybody loved it. Like Fire Emblem Awakening was supposed to be the last Fire Emblem game. It was going to go the way of Golden Sun and F-Zero, and that's where it was going. And now it's probably, I would say, if Mario and Zelda are S tier franchises,
Mm.
I would slot Fire Emblem into the A slot with Xenoblade. Honestly, I think they belong in the same tier. Um, Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe Xenoblade's more popular, probably, but um, I don't know. Fire Emblem found a new audience on the 3DS, and I'm
Yeah.
glad. And I think it's obviously because of the relationship stuff and the way they retooled how the mechanics worked, and it was very, that type of relationship building was growing at the time because of Persona 4 Golden and uh, a few other games that kind of had that going for it. So,
I was seeing some cover plates that I guess where they were only in Japan.
mhm.
Uh,
What, the Awakening ones,
um,
or just
no,
3D
uh,
covers in general?
3D cover plates, 3DS cover plates for Nintendo in Australia.
So
That was in Japan.
they were available only on the new Nintendo 3DS, not the
Yes,
XL one, just the
yes.
the regular sized one. And they sold a couple here, I think, but like if you wanted one, like a cool one, you had to import it.
They're from Japan. Because I think that's when they were doing that campaign with the one girl. It was like one solid color, and then it was like all the designs. It has a name to it, um, but it was just like you would see Mario in a fancy suit, but he'll be like in these different designs
Hmm.
and stuff like pinstripes. Uh, for it, like I
Hmm.
remember they had this cool kind of commercial for it.
Hmm.
Um, and it was called it's a certain style for it. The 3DS commercials in Japan were really really cool.
Hmm.
Um, for it. Um, yeah, it's just I know everybody we're supposed to be talking about the launch, but like I think it was just
I
it
mean,
was
there
so
wasn't a
much
launch really. I mean, like they
pretty
totally fumbled the launch of that console.
yeah pretty much and I'm not saying that the 3DS was successful in its first year, but I really think that like after the first year of the 3DS and Nintendo, after they did the ambassadors and they started putting out like major games on it, it really showcased the power of the Nintendo 3DS.
Hmm.
When Smash came out and you were putting like people were getting amiibos for a Smash for Wii U and 3DS, and you could just transfer them back and forth. Like that was super cool.
Hmm.
Um, for it. So it's it's kind of just shocking that not such a strong um library of launch games for the 3DS. But like afterwards, yeah, like I mentioned Link Between Worlds, like that got a lot of Game of the Year nominations, and for some publications, it won Game of the Year, like a handheld game, and that's not really known to happen in video games.
Hmm.
A handheld game winning.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, handheld games usually had their own category at that point, right? I mean,
Yeah.
same as indie game. Now we kind of just, obviously handheld gaming is in a very different place than it was in 2011 when 3DS came out, but like,
Hmm.
it was that was a big deal when a link between worlds won what GameSpot, I think, and there's another big outlet, I forget it right now, but like, I mean, that was a big deal to see that. And yeah, Nintendo had some great software for that console.
Yes.
I'm if they wouldn't have fumbled that launch, who knows what could have been made out of that,
And I think was 3DS the first to do digital games for like first party. Um, like you
Mm,
could buy like if you were doing Fire Emblem, um, Awakening, you could do it physically or digitally on the 3DS. Because I don't know if the regular
yes.
DS did
The
did
DSi started playing around with digital games, but they were mostly smaller games. I don't think they were like full
okay.
on retail releases, right? Like this full
Yeah.
priced ones.
Because that's when it was just like you could get into the pre-order digitally and get points and stuff for it.
Hmm. Yeah, because I think that was the beginning of the gold points system that they're taking away,
Hmm.
right? That was their beginning, I think. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and
mean,
it's yeah, the 3DS I think was more successful in its later years than its launch
oh
lineup.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think their success started with that price drop. Honestly,
Hmm.
like, I mean, I know like the tech was cool and probably really expensive to develop, but like, nobody cared about it. And, I mean, that's too, the Wii U and the 3DS gimmicks were based on technology that the average person didn't care about, and it was like industry, let's push for this type thing, right? It's kind of
Hmm.
like where VR is right now, right? Where like,
Yes.
every TV had 3D in it, right? Like every piece of tech, even Xbox 360 and PS3 games were being developed with 3D. Like, I had like this TV right here next to me. My really old TV is a 3D TV. And I remember it came with special pairs of glasses that you had to
Hmm.
charge to watch 3D. And I remember playing Gears of War 3 in 3D. And like I thought it was really cool for like 20 minutes, and then I got a really bad headache, and then I never did it again until Uncharted 3 came out, or got Uncharted 3 and played Uncharted 3 for about a half hour in 3D, and I was like, that's neat, and then I never did it again because like 3D is hurts my head. It's like, you know, it's just something
Yeah,
we weren't used to eat to, right? Like I don't know, it 3D and VR are like those technologies that you have to be willing to lose money on to invest in it.
and
And then
as time.
Nintendo tried, right? Like they
Yeah,
tried. They
yeah,
really tried. And
and I'm glad that they left it as a option. You know,
mhm.
on the 3DS, you could just use a slider to go up or
Well,
down.
eventually they didn't. They took
Well,
it
yeah.
out.
And so when what's the new 3DS still had the 3D in it?
Hmm. The last model they released alongside the Switch, which was the new 2DS XL,
Uh,
the clamshell one, which is
that's
the
when
one
they
that
took
I
the.
have, that does not have 3D in it at all.
Yeah.
Also has the screen is worse, apparently. Like the colors don't pop as well as the 3D screens because they had to use a
Uh,
different style of screen for the 3D, which made the
yeah.
colors more vibrant and brighter and everything. And it's not that it looks bad at all, but I mean the 3DS looks bad compared to everything now. But in a uh, definition sense, but I agree. I think the 3DS was definitely better in its later years. Um, and then they started packing in, Mario Kart there was a Mario Kart bundle at one point. And then there was a Zelda bundle at some point with Ocarina. And then I think there was a Mario bundle at one point, but maybe it was one of those 2DSs. I don't know.
Yeah. So 3DS sold 75.94 million, and the games have sold around 392.14 million as of December 31st, 2024. And that's the combination of the 3DS family of systems combined. So
all 9 of them.
Yeah.
Let's see. Seriously though, let's see. So this is in release order, I think. So there was the 3DS, the 3DS XL, the 2DS, which was the wedge doorstop looking one.
Yes.
The new Nintendo 3DS XL, because they released the XL version first. Then they released the new Nintendo 3DS. And then the new Nintendo 2DS XL.
Nope. So, Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo 3DS XL, Nintendo 2DS, new Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS XL, and the last one was the new Nintendo 2DS XL.
That was exactly the order I went in.
I thought you said 2D new Nintendo 2D XL before 3DS.
No, the new Nintendo 3DS XL came out before the small version.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last release was the new 2DS XL.
Yes.
So, and then that's kind of also like they tried that second attempt at Virtual Console, right? And everybody was mad because your Virtual Console games were still tied to your 3D to your console and not your Nintendo ID. And then they did it again with the Wii U, right? But they had that cool like Pikmin save transfer thing over to and like you could turn your Wii on, right? And then watch the Pikmin carry your games over from the Wii to your Wii U memory card. And
that was a long process.
Oh my gosh, you're telling me. I think I left it on for like a day and a half.
Wow.
I wonder if those games still work, honestly.
Swap Note was the one that they canceled. Yeah. Because of some messaging for some people that was kind of naughty.
Yeah. Well, people don't know how to handle themselves, Ed.
That is true.
People just don't know how to,
behave themselves. The Virtual Console had Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Gear, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo. Those was the Virtual Console games on that system that you were able to buy.
Yeah, man, 3DS. What the little console that could, huh? I'm glad it ended up finding success, because if it didn't, who knows where we would be talking about Nintendo right now. I mean, probably I don't know if it would be the same place, but it would probably be similar. I mean, Nintendo, I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. So
yeah, with the success of Switch, finally having both worlds where console and handheld meet, it just works out of the gate, and change the whole video game industry. How we game.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Well, anything else, Corey, about the Nintendo 3DS? I know we didn't really speak about the launch games a lot, but it wasn't a good launch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's like the only thing left, I guess, is like the launch wasn't great, and it wasn't great. and
Hmm.
they knew it. And the ambassador program was a good start. And then obviously the software ended up coming out later. But yeah, I mean, it was a rough go for a hot minute for them.
Yeah. So, well,
Yeah.
everybody, we're gonna wrap it up there for Expansion Pass. Let us know what you think about the Nintendo 3DS launch lineup. Did you get any of these games? Did you wait to get later versions of the system? And what were your games that you picked up when you got the system? We want to know. You can let us know. On our social medias, on Bossrush Network, Bossrush.net, or if you see this on YouTube or get it early as a Patreon, let us know. With that, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Expansion Pass. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.